Why are you a Christian? I don't know.
God wants you to be rich.
What's wrong with you people?
A lot.
The lifestyle in which you walk, is it for God? And don't play with me. Is it really for God?
I mean, this is what's wrong with the Christian church today. We don't know who God is, and we don't know who we are.
All right, let's go out to the streets and share the gospel.
Right? You're a freelance.
Yes, ma'am.
There you go.
He'll talk to you. Hi, Lee Boston.
Hi, my name is Will.
Well, glad to meet you.
So, first, I guess I'll ask, what are you guys doing here, or why are you here?
We're here trying to end the politics of hate that's tearing this country apart. Republicans and Democrats are both guilty. We're here protesting right-wing supremacy, Antifa, the Ku Klux Klan, and the radical elements of Black Lives Matter. It's tearing this country apart. We need to get back to a rational debate over policies and programs and not bring in personalities.
So what do you think the answer to that is?
Civility and conversation. We founded this country on a rational debate of ideas. That's our strength, but we're not doing that anymore. Instead of, I'm not a racist because I believe we need strong borders and control immigration. But yet, you mention that and you're accused of being a racist. And the same thing occurs Republicans to Democrats. We need to get back, let's debate immigration, greenhouse, taxes. Let's debate all of these things, but debate them in a civil manner.
So I heard you mention the way this country was founded, and it reminds me of what John Adams said when the Constitution was written, saying, the Constitution was written for a moral and religious nation, and, well, that's not what we are anymore. And so I think that's what the answer is, us coming back to God.
Very much so. We've lost track of it in many ways. The Constitution provides freedom of religion, but not freedom from religion. We need to allow the free exercise of religion, whether it's Christianity, Judaism, Islam. By observing all of those, we gain strength. If we'd take a moment, we'd realize that there is a lot of similarities between the great religions of the world. Certainly there's differences, but there's a lot of similarities. We are closer together than we act, and that needs to change.
So do you believe in God?
I very much do, yeah.
What do you call your God? Or what, is it a specific religion, or?
I'm Catholic all my life, so I believe in Jesus Christ, but I recognize that other religions, very similar moral codes, but they have their specific differences, whether it's Allah or Yahweh or Buddha or whatever. The moral lessons are all the same. We need to realize that and stress that. I hope the Pope is not listening, but
I would agree that they have a lot of the moral lessons. They do. All these called holy books have a moral lesson that are good and that we should strive to have. I think the biggest difference between the God of the Bible and other gods is, I think a lot of the other religions are religions of do. Like you do this, you do A, B, and C to get to paradise, to get to heaven, whether it's following the 5 pillars of Islam or just doing more good than bad. But the God of the Bible, God obviously knew that we cannot do it, right? That we've broken his law, we've broken his commandments, and that we're sinners. And so he sent Jesus Christ down to die on the cross for us, because we can't do it, but the perfect Son of God can do it. And so we put our trust in him and not ourselves and what we can do. And I think that's the biggest difference, is that, there's grace in that, and it's nothing I can do, because, if I examine myself enough, I know that I'm not worthy to get to heaven. I know I've sinned, I've done a lot of bad things, but I know that he has died for me, and in that, it makes me want to live for him not do bad things anymore and to do those things. So I think that's the biggest difference between Christianity and other religions is the recognition that we cannot do it, that only He can do it.
Certainly I need a lot of help.
How do you think you get to heaven? Like if I asked you, how do I get to heaven? How do I know God? Because I want to go to heaven, what would you tell me?
Live a life that recognizes and obeys the 10 Commandments.
So doing those good things, following Him, and then you'll go to heaven?
I don't think it's a litmus test. I think in the end, God's going to look down on each one of us and judge the good and the bad and say, where does it fall? Is that person, I hate to use the word qualified, but does that person come to heaven? He believes in the redemption of sinners, so I've still got a chance.
Do you think you've done good enough?
Oh, I'm not the one to judge that.
All right, God is the one to judge it, but He's given us those commandments that we can kind of examine ourselves with. So do you think you've properly followed them?
Oh, I have. I've sinned, and like anybody else, I've made a lot of mistakes. But I think overall, I'm confident in my skin. Let's put it that way. That I think I've lived a good life.
Can I quiz you on that? It'll take 2 seconds. I appreciate your time, by the way. I do appreciate you talking to me. How many lies have you told in your life?
Oh, God. Dozens.
What would you call me if I told a lot of lies?
Well, I don't know. It depends on what the lies are about or what I know about them.
Rhymes with fire.
Well, a liar, yeah, I suppose, yeah.
So, have you ever stolen anything in your life?
No.
Even like when you were younger, like coins from your mother's purse or anything like that?
No.
Better man than I. I got a couple more.
I do raid my wife's pocketbook every now and then.
Not very often.
So, have you ever used God's name in vain?
Too many times.
So the thing about that is, I think in our culture, we don't really see that as too big of a thing, saying, oh my God, or Jesus Christ in a negative way because, well, it's pretty common. But why it's a big deal to God and in the Bible is we're taking the highest name there is, right, and using it as a swear word. Yeah. And even in the Old Testament, it was punishable by death. There's a lot of ways we can blaspheme God's name, but that's one of them. But Jesus says, even if you look at a woman with lust, you have committed adultery with her already in your heart. So have you ever done that?
No, that's Jimmy Carter.
What do you mean that's Jimmy Carter?
That's what Jimmy Carter said.
Well, he's quoting the Bible then.
No, he quoted that he's looked at women with lust. End it. That's enough.
Got a present for you. Thank you for stopping by and
Thank you. I got something for you too if you want to take it.
no, I'm good. Thank you.
Clever man.
Can I hand this to you?
I heard you talking. There's only been one perfect human being on the earth. That was over 2,000 years ago.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. So it's clear that he didn't want to talk at all. He wanted to shut that conversation down real quick, and that's all right. You can't always get to them. Sometimes they're not going to want to talk to you, and you just do what you can. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get to the gospel with him. He seemed like he was all set. He didn't want to have the conversation anymore, especially after I brought up lusting. And you do what you can do. You can't always get them. You can't always have that 20-minute conversation, but we're out here.